Do you remember the first time you heard the term crowdfunding, or you learned what Kickstarter or Indiegogo is, and what was your first impression of crowdfunding, and now what is it?
Well, our friend Jocelyn Town, who made IMI, which is a wonderful film, and they were one of the first films to make over $100,000 on Kickstarter. And so she was talking to us about the process, and we were in her video, so that really introduced us to the idea.
It's the first time we'd really heard of it,
Yeah.
I think.
It's a great video. I
love it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cute.
We were the parrots.
Oh, okay. Okay, I have to go
Parrots,
back
not
and-
parents.
Did I say parrots?
No, but someone could have thought you said parents.
Right, that would be
There's
very
no parents in the
embarrassing.
video.
Yeah, it would be confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's when we first heard of it, and it's really a great, sort of form of patronage and a way for people to give to the arts, and it's kind of an exciting time.
Mm-hmm. And do you think it'll still be around in 10 years?
It's a great question.
This form of raising
I don't know. I
I'm
hope
worried
so.
about it reaching a saturation point where everyone has a Kickstarter and therefore no one is
No one cares.
No one cares.
I've been looking at a lot of the crowdfunding hashtag on Twitter, and there seems to be a lot of icky entrepreneurial content. Sort of like, a lot of workshops and things like that are wonderful, but there's also that sort of, what am I trying to say?
the sleaze factor.
It's sleaze factor, yeah, and I feel like people are becoming aware of it, which is great because people who need it can find it, but there is also that sleaze factor sort of there.
And I think, if there are large amounts of people who get burned on some sort of crowdfunding thing where they give money and then the makers don't end up not knowing what they're doing and end up not fulfilling their incentives or, whatever it is, I think if people start getting burned, then it might start getting have a sort of a stigmatized sort of association with it. Hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully it will just continue to grow and we'll stick around because it's really sort of a great way of leveling the playing field for artists.
And it's a great way of taking out the gatekeepers. I mean, if you look at, what was it? Not the video game one that just did millions and millions.
Adventure Time? Was it something?
Well, the everyone else probably knows better than me, but that the big companies wouldn't fund that sort of video game, and then everyone on Kickstarter came in and gave them $1 bajillion and got the thing that they wanted that the money people thought they didn't want. So
it could also go the other way of it becoming more like that, where it's less sort of people working out of their apartment. It's sort of big, not big corporations, but
companies,
real
companies.
companies sort of, getting the limelight, and smaller artists not really be able to find an audience.
I think there's room for everyone though, because those big companies help people go to the venue and then they play around and find other things. I know that's what I do. If a friend of mine has a Kickstarter, I'll go look at it, and then 2 hours later I've backed 3 projects because I looked at other things while I was there too. So
right. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Right. I think I was reading on, was it Gawker.com, that sometimes they liken it to being at a party and someone trying to sell you Amway, because having been on both sides of it, having had our own Kickstarter campaign, you want to be able to tell people, but at the same time there's sort of a fine line. What's the way to do it what's the way to finesse it? How do you let people know without being too, fund me,
Well, I'm annoying myself with our current Kickstarter campaign. So
the idea is to look at it as sort of a way of testing out the marketplace with your idea to see if it's something that people want. Should I wait till that goes? Pre-selling your idea, and you don't have the funds to make it, but here's this product. Do you want it? And if it's something that people want, then it'll be easier to try to sell people on it. The Kickstarters where people end up just sort of begging for money, even though we feel that we're begging for money sometimes, are those ones where they don't really have very good incentives, like, we're making a book. If you give $200, you get a copy of the book. It's
sell the thing for how much it's going to cost.
If I wait till the book is out, I can buy it for $25 or whatever it is. Yeah. So we look at it as and actually trying to make it so they're getting more for their money than if they waited for when it comes out. So for $25 for our current one, they get a copy of the movie, they get a digital copy of the movie, they get a Kickstarter exclusive audio commentary, invitation to after parties and stuff. So trying to make it something that people will want, as opposed to hey, please give me a lot of money so that I can have money to do my thing. I think that there's that element of people liking the idea of helping, which is attractive, but also they need to get something for the money that makes it seem equitable and worthwhile to them.
And you also have something where if they're within 2 hours of LA, like a comedy group will come and perform.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
Yeah,
it's us.
how fun. Okay.
We one of the things that we started doing when we first came to LA was we formed a 2-person comedy duo that's sort of in the vein of
Nichols and May,
Nichols
or
and May.
Stiller and Mira, or Burns and Allen, except hopefully he won't work me to death, so.
Right. People need to be more familiar with George Burns and Gracie Allen to get that. But yeah, so we did that. We created this act and we traveled around doing it and stuff. And the idea was, oh, we'll do our act and maybe we'll get representation and then we'll start getting auditions and then maybe we'll start producing our stuff. And then we just thought, well, let's just skip the middleman and start producing the things that we want to produce. But we still have our act and we still love performing live. And if people want us to come perform at their venue, we'll come do it.
And you have a band? I think there's somebody in San Francisco.
Yes.
The band that is in the movie, the director's husband band, the Chief Enablers.
Actually, it's Chief Enablers.
Oh,
There's
no,
no
the?
the. Yes.
All right.
I was corrected on that.
Oh,
Chief Enablers.
Chief Enablers.
They will go, I think it's within 50 miles or
Yeah.
2 hours of the Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
And they'll play a gig.
So Salinas.
Yeah,
They'll go.
Yes.
absolutely.
Right, at the cannery.